In the heart of a small, dusty town named Willow Springs, life moved slowly under the vast sky. The wind carried whispers of adventure and mystery, but for its residents, each day felt much like the last. The streets were lined with wooden buildings that creaked in the breeze, and a few scattered tumbleweeds rolled by, adding to the charm of this frontier settlement. Here, in a modest clinic tucked between the general store and the saloon, lived Dr. Ezra Holt, a man both respected and feared. Dr. Holt was not your ordinary doctor. While most physicians relied on traditional remedies, he had a reputation for using unusual methods. Rumors swirled around town about his secret potions and elixirs. Many believed he could cure anything from a common cold to broken hearts. He often spoke of bottled starlight, a legendary substance he claimed to have discovered on his travels across the frontier. Townsfolk would chuckle at his tales, but there was an air of curiosity whenever they gathered at the local watering hole. Despite their doubts, patients continued to seek him out when their ailments proved too stubborn for conventional treatments. Some left with smiles and stories of miraculous recoveries, while others whispered about strange side effects that made them glow or see things they couldn't explain. Dr. Holt embraced his role as both healer and enigma, making him a figure of intrigue in Willow Springs, a place where the ordinary sometimes brushed against the extraordinary. The lore of bottled starlight was as old as Willow Springs itself, passed down through generations like a cherished secret. Many believed it sparkled with the essence of the stars, capturing their light and magic in tiny glass vials. According to local legends, this celestial substance could heal wounds, cure diseases, and even grant powerful abilities to those brave enough to use it. Tales would often feature daring adventurers who had ventured into the night sky and returned with freshly filled bottles, shimmering with promise. Whispers around the town spoke of how those who ingested or injected starlight would radiate an incredible glow. Some said it brought out the best in people, amplifying their strengths or enhancing hidden talents. Townsfolk shared stories at the local tavern about individuals who sang beautifully after their treatments or ran faster than a wild stallion. But there were warnings too. The dark side of using starlight was often discussed behind closed doors. The very same magic that could uplift could also overwhelm. Some users were said to have lost their minds, consumed by their own brightness. Despite the rumor's mix of wonder and fear, Dr. Holt claimed to have perfected a method for harnessing this mystical energy safely. He believed he had found a way to unlock all its potential while minimizing risks. As such stories spread through Willow Springs, curiosity mingled with caution, leading many to wonder if bottled starlight might just be the key to unlocking extraordinary adventures, or perhaps disastrous consequences. One crisp morning, a young woman named Clara stumbled into Dr. Holt's office, her face pale and fraught with worry. She had traveled from a nearby town, desperate for relief from a rare illness that had left doctors baffled and her family in despair. Clara's condition was unlike anything the locals had seen. She would often lose consciousness without warning, sometimes for hours at a time, and when she awoke, her body was weak and trembling. As Clara recounted her symptoms, Dr. Holt listened intently, noting the signs of something truly unusual. He felt an ache in his heart for this brave soul, who was clearly fighting a battle that seemed hopeless. The townsfolk had spoken of her plight. Whispers of her mysterious illness traveled like wildfire through the community. Most believed there was no cure, which only deepened Clara's desperation. Dr. Holt's mind raced as he considered his options. He had always been cautious about using bottled starlight, but Clara's situation tugged at his conscience. What if this extraordinary remedy could be the answer she needed? Despite the risks, the possibility of helping her shine once more empowered him to act. Taking a deep breath, he asked Clara if she would be willing to try something unconventional, an injection of bottled starlight. Her eyes widened with both hope and fear as she pondered the choice before her. Would she dare to embrace the unknown in search of healing? Dr. Holt felt a mix of excitement and apprehension as he prepared to extract the bottled starlight. The little clinic buzzed with an eerie energy, the air thick with anticipation. He walked over to a small, dark cabinet that housed the precious vials, each one glowing faintly like a captured star. Carefully, he selected a particularly radiant bottle that seemed to pulse with energy, its contents swirling inside like liquid light. Gently, he uncorked the vial and watched as a soft glow illuminated the room. Using a fine syringe crafted from silver and glass, he dipped it into the magical substance. As he drew up the starlight, it sparkled against the sunlight streaming through the window, tiny flecks of brilliance filling the syringe. Dr. Holt marveled at what lay in his hands. This was not just a remedy but a piece of cosmic magic. With Clara seated on an examination table, her eyes wide with both hope and fear, Dr. Holt reassured her that he was taking every precaution. He cleaned her arm with antiseptic before gently holding her wrist to steady it. "This may feel unusual," he explained as he positioned the needle against her skin. As he injected the starlight into her veins, a warm light enveloped Clara's body, and Dr. Holt felt a rush of energy coursing through him as well. He could hardly believe what he was witnessing. This was more than just a treatment. It felt like they were harnessing the very essence of the universe itself. Would this be the miracle they both hoped for? As the starlight coursed through Clara's veins, a transformation began. At first, it was subtle, a gentle warmth spreading from the injection site, radiating outward like ripples on a still pond. Suddenly, Clara's skin shimmered with a soft glow, and Dr. Holt watched in disbelief as her entire body became bathed in an ethereal light. The glow intensified, filling the room with an otherworldly illumination that flickered like stars against the night sky. Clara gasped, her eyes wide as she looked down at herself. The light was not just illuminating her. It seemed to awaken something deep within her, a spark of life that had long been dormant due to her illness. The soft glow transformed into vibrant hues of blue and gold, swirling around her like ribbons of light dancing in the air. Dr. Holt couldn't help but take a step back, awestruck by the beauty unfolding before him. As Clara's body radiated brighter and brighter, the walls of the clinic began to shimmer with reflections of her brilliance. Shadows danced around them, and for a moment, it felt as if they were suspended in space itself. However, as the light reached its peak intensity, it shattered the calm atmosphere. Mirrors across the street in the barbershop shattered under the overwhelming brightness. Dr. Holt felt both exhilarated and terrified. This was not just healing. It was an explosion of pure energy that could change everything. Would Clara emerge not only cured but transformed into something far beyond what anyone could have imagined? As Clara glowed brighter, the light streamed through the clinic's window, creating a dazzling spectacle that caught the eye of passers-by. Those who stood outside the barbershop were first to notice. They squinted against the flickering radiance. The bright hue sparked a sense of both wonder and dread, drawing a small crowd, eager yet apprehensive. Inside the barbershop, two men were chatting in front of an antique mirror, their reflections wavering with every movement. Suddenly, they froze, eyes wide as they beheld the brilliant glow spilling from the clinic. It felt as though a beacon was calling out to them from beyond the ordinary world. But what struck them most was the unsettling power of that brilliance. Without warning, as Clara's light reached its peak intensity, the mirrors in the barbershop began to tremble. The reflection of her vibrant blue and gold hues bounced off glass surfaces, creating a storm of light that seemed to pulse with life. The air crackled around them like static electricity, thick with tension and anticipation. Then came the sound that sent shivers down their spines, the sharp crack of glass shattering. One by one, the mirrors fractured under the overwhelming brightness, reflections splintering into 1,000 shards that rained down like stars falling from the sky. Gasps filled the air as townsfolk watched in horror and awe, witnessing a phenomenon beyond comprehension. In Dr. Holt's clinic, Clara remained unaware of the chaos outside, lost in her own transformation as Dr. Holt held his breath, contemplating the consequences of this extraordinary event unfolding before him. As the dazzling light continued to pulse from Clara, the crowd outside the clinic grew larger. Townsfolk gathered, their expressions ranging from pure amazement to palpable fear. Whispers rippled through the group like an electric current. Some shouted words of disbelief, while others simply stood frozen, eyes wide and mouths agape, unable to process what they were witnessing. A mother clutched her child close, shielding the little one from the unfamiliar brightness. "What kind of sorcery is this?" she exclaimed, fear lacing her voice. Meanwhile, an old man with a weathered face squinted into the glow and said to no one in particular, "It could be a sign, a blessing or a curse." His words hung heavy in the air, stirring both excitement and dread among those listening. In front of the barbershop, two teenagers, who had been playing cards, dropped their hands in shock as glass rained down around them from the shattered mirrors. The allure of the light pulled them closer, yet the shards glimmering at their feet made them hesitate. "Should we run? What if it's dangerous?" one whispered, torn between curiosity and instinct to flee. Others began to shout for Dr. Holt, imploring him to stop whatever was happening. "Is she all right? What's happening to her?" Their voices mingled in a cacophony of concern and wonder. Yet even amid the chaos, there were those who dared to step closer, drawn by the luminous spectacle that seemed to promise hope and healing. A phenomenon so extraordinary it felt like magic. As Dr. Holt watched the scene unfold, Clara glowing brilliantly and the townsfolk gathered in excitement and fear, he felt a whirlwind of emotions swirling within him. Pride surged through his chest, knowing that his decision to use bottled starlight was yielding awe-inspiring results. Clara's transformation was unlike anything he had ever witnessed, a testament to his bold beliefs in unconventional medicine. He had dared to tread where few would, challenging the boundaries of healing with a substance that many deemed too dangerous. But beneath that pride lay a heavy weight of worry. The chaos outside, the shattered mirrors and gasps of disbelief, had become a stark reminder of the risks involved. Dr. Holt's heart soured at the thought that this extraordinary event could take a turn for the worse. What if Clara's transformation overwhelmed her? What if she became more than just a patient healed but something uncontrollable? The legends he'd heard about bottled starlight echoing in his mind warned of dangers. He had always been cautious about those stories, but now doubt began to gnaw at him. Each glimmer of light emanating from Clara felt like a beacon guiding and threatening at once. In those moments, he grappled with the realization that he had unleashed something beyond his control, a force capable of miracles but also fraught with unpredictability. Would he be celebrated as a hero or blamed for tragedy? As the spectacle continued outside, Dr. Holt knew he must consider not only what he had done, but also what consequences might follow this momentous decision. In the days that followed Clara's extraordinary transformation, life in Willow Springs began to change. As she adjusted to her new abilities, Clara found herself feeling more vital than ever. It was as if the starlight had not just healed her body but also ignited parts of her spirit that had long been dimmed by illness. She now radiated a gentle glow that left a trail of soft luminescence wherever she went, captivating the townspeople and drawing admiration. At first, her newfound presence was exhilarating. Clara explored her powers with a sense of wonder, discovering that she could encourage plants to grow faster by simply being near them. Flowers bloomed brighter, and crops flourished under her touch. Friends and neighbors visited often, hoping for a glimpse of the girl who had defied the odds and emerged like a beacon of hope. However, this attention came with its own challenges. Clara quickly realized that her glow made her feel both loved and isolated. While many celebrated her transformation, there were whispers of fear among those who worried about what she had become. Some older residents spoke cautiously about the dangers of bottled starlight, recalling old legends warning of madness and chaos. Clara felt the weight of expectation rest heavily on her shoulders, wondering if she would be seen as a miracle or a curse. As she navigated this new reality, Clara resolved to use her gifts wisely, helping those in need while finding ways to communicate the importance of balance and caution. It was a delicate dance of responsibility, one that required understanding the nuances of her extraordinary transformation and embracing both the light and shadows of her new life. As the dust settled in Willow Springs after Clara's remarkable transformation, the effects rippled through the town and its people. Clara's glow had not only altered her life, but had also reshaped the community's perception of what was possible. The townsfolk began to view the world around them with renewed wonder, inspired by Clara's ability to nurture life and heal what was once thought beyond repair. Her presence reminded everyone that magic could exist alongside their ordinary lives, igniting hope in hearts that had grown weary over time. However, this adventure also served as a cautionary tale. The excitement surrounding Clara's transformation reminded the residents of the thin line between marvel and chaos. Dr. Holt, now more cautious than ever, reflected on the power he had tapped into with bottled starlight. He recognized that while exploration was vital, it must be approached with humility and respect for the forces they did not fully understand. The balance between wonder and caution became a shared lesson for the entire town. Clara, once a figure of despair, emerged as a beacon of possibility, urging her neighbors to embrace their own potential while reminding them to tread lightly. In this small frontier town, where the ordinary met the extraordinary, both Clara and Dr. Holt understood that new frontiers came with risks. As they moved forward, they forged a bond built on trust and wisdom, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead together, encouraged by hope but grounded in reality.